Hey guys, Jose here with another video. Today I want to talk about deadlift technique and how I've improved it ever since I've started lifting. In that first video I did 407 at about 150 pounds body weight. Second video I did probably sub 225 at about 120 pounds. Just want to talk about how I improved my form and little tips and tricks that I learned along the way that maybe could help a couple people. So let's get into it. So this is probably my first deadlift back after a short break of lifting. First mistake that I had here was wearing running shoes. When you deadlift, you always want to use flat shoes. It's just better overall, makes you more stable. It's not a squishy sole, it's not going to mess you up. So here we can see that I set my hips really low, but they instantly shoot back up. Now this is a problem that I was facing for a very, very long time. Because a lot of people, they say chest up, and I actually don't like that cue, and I will explain it as the video goes on. But I mean, overall, I finished the deadlift, but my bracing could have been way better. A lot of things could have been way better. So this was definitely a starting point for me, and you will see as it improves, the changes I made. So in this video, I was once again setting my hips too low, and I was hewing chest up, so my lower back was kind of arching there at the bottom at the start position. But I feel like backgrounding is way too fear-mongered. I feel like fear-mongering backgrounding is what causes cases like this, where people try to kind of strain their backs too much, and then it kind of throws off their starting position even more. So yeah, this is a mistake that I made that I wish I avoided from the start. But I wasn't fortunate enough to learn early on. So yeah. But good news is it gets better. So this is probably the worst deadlift I ever done in my life. I made no attempts to push my hips into the bar. I didn't pull a slack out. The bar rolled forward in front of me, which meant that the bar was too close to my shins to start out with. So yeah, don't do this. Try to avoid ego lifting. And yeah, avoid ego lifting. In this video, I was kind of leaning away from squatting my deadlift, but I was still doing a really bad habit, which was leaning back, kind of like trying to sit back into it like a recliner chair. And yeah, no, it was not good. So once again, don't do what I did. I'll explain all how to fix it after I show these clips. So this video, this was after trying to kind of close my stance in a little bit. This is why my feet are so damn close. But I don't know. I personally stay away from this now. I kind of find a middle ground, not too wide, not too close. But it might work for some people. Just worth experimenting. Maybe. Depends. Yeah. Here, my form started to get better. Just a couple things I could do better, but I'll explain it all after this video. So this was a more recent video. This is me doing like 335 for 3 reps. So this is slowed down, but as you can see, my hips, I'm gonna set them a little bit too low, and they're gonna shoot up again. And this is because I was once again cueing chest up, and I was trying to sit back into it, which was a cue that one of my friends told me actually, but it didn't work for me. And might work for some people. It all depends on the build. I personally have long arms, long legs, so it didn't work for me. Second rep was a little bit better, less hip rise because my body started doing stuff that was more efficient. One mistake that I will say though, besides all of that, is that I lean back a lot and towards the top of the deadlift, and you don't want to do that because it puts a lot of pressure on your back. Even now, I still do it sometimes, but I would say try to lean away from that. Try to correct it as soon as it becomes prevalent. You know what I mean? So this is my current deadlift form. As you can see, the setup's going to look wildly different from all my other deadlift videos. I'm going to first find the proper distance from the bar, which is about around my shoelaces. I'm going to stretch myself out, try to get a little bit of thoracic extension at the top. Brace at the top, brace really deep into your bell at the top. Reach down, hinge. Well, I hinge. load your hamstrings by stretching them out a little bit, and then push your hips into the bar. Into the bar. You don't try to push your hips, you don't try to put your hips down, you don't try to sit back into it. You push your hips into the bar while keeping your shoulders over the bar. This I have found has worked immensely for me. It's fixed kind of all the issues I've had, made me way stronger. And the form, it may look like I am a little bit more back, like my back's a little bit more bent over, but it's safe. I mean, as long as you brace. So, yeah. So I know that was a lot of info, but to summarize it, I found that bracing at the top before you get down into the deadlift is better, at least for me. Once again, it probably depends person to person. You want to have a dynamic start, so push your hips into the bar, but try not to sit back into the bar because that throws your center of mass behind the bar, which is not what you want because that's what's going to cause your hips to rise. Shoot all the way back and try to correct yourself. Another thing too, pulling the slack out. I pull on a deadlift bar. I'm not too sure if there's too much slack to pull out with a power bar, but at least with a deadlift bar, try to pull the slack out. Try to feel that weight in your upper back, and then push your hips into that pressure. It's very hard to describe. You kind of just have to feel it. But basically, that's the progression of my deadlifts. And I would say if I did it, anybody can do it. Just gotta have patience, time, and yeah, do RDLs as well, get stronger hamstrings, get a stronger lower back, back extensions. I'm very terrible at explaining things, but I don't know. Hopefully somebody learned something from this.